What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on the Three Pyramids Network, and today we are checking out the Poor Man Podcast. Shout out to Buddy. The name of this video is "What Happens When Men Stop Working." You know what I mean? Hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and hit me with a super hype. Yeah, if you got one, I'd appreciate it. Let's do this on the road to 1,000 subs.
Talking about what would happen if men stopped working for 30 days. The absolute chaos that would ensue if men stopped working for 30 days. And I think it's going to be interesting because men do pretty much all of the infrastructure jobs, pretty much anything involving infrastructure, whether that be building it, maintaining it, protecting it. Men do pretty much all of those jobs. So I think it's going to be interesting. They're going to start at day 1 and then say what's going to happen on every day up until day 30 if men stopped working completely.
Let's
it should be
play
interesting.
Pretend, but not that Disney foolishness you grew up on. What if tomorrow every man on this planet just stopped working?
What would happen?
No construction, no trucking, no lights, no food, no defense. 30 days, no men. Would the world girl boss its way to survival?
Probably
or
not.
Would it
Probably
rise
not.
under its own attitude?
Probably.
Let's find out.
All right, we got to lock in on this.
Everyone loves to say, we're all equal.
Uh-huh.
Cute idea.
Yep.
Reality check. Infrastructure doesn't care about feelings. It cares about who shows up.
True.
Let's see who that is. 97% construction.
Damn,
men.
97%.
96% truck drivers. Men.
Damn.
95% utility workers.
Damn.
Men.
Damn.
92% military. Men.
Yeah.
79% law enforcement. Men. 93% trash collectors.
Bro.
Men.
And that is such a underrated job. Like, people have no clue. I don't know what it is about American media that like tries to look down on like janitorial or trash collection jobs. These are quite possibly one of the most important jobs on the planet.
Yes.
Just being a trash collector. Bro, I worked for you. It gives you a totally different respect for this type of stuff. I worked for USPS for like 2 years when I was making the channel, while I was making videos at the beginning before I got any views. And it just gave me a totally different perspective of what that job was. I did USPS in Minnesota. And I don't know if you noticed, but rain, sleet, or snow, you always get your mail because there's somebody there to deliver it every single day. And most of the time, these people are on foot. I walked, on average, 22,000 steps a day doing that job. When I tell you, bro, December was a nightmare. Come around Christmas, bro, you're walking outside. You got mail in this hand. You got mail in this hand. You got Amazon packages under your arms. You're slipping and sliding in snow. It's cold as hell outside, but you can't even wear gloves because the gloves make the mail too slippery, so you can't thumb through the mail as fast in order to deliver it. And you're not just walking down the street. You're not just walking down the sidewalk. You have to cut into every divvy to walk up to every door specifically to drop off the mail. And so it just gave me a different respect for the people who have to do that job. And I couldn't imagine something like trash collection where you still have to go to pretty much every single house, but instead of like delivering mail, you have to deal with people's trash. Like, I just couldn't imagine it. I think it's just such an underrated job and underappreciated job. Like, that job in and of itself is quite possibly one of the most important ones on this list.
88% software engineers.
Yeah.
Men. So yeah, TikTok influencers aren't gonna fix the power grid.
Yeah, even if one of those jobs was gone, it'd be chaos. So let's see what happens if all of them are gone.
You unplug these men, your Wi-Fi, your DoorDash, your Netflix and chill, dead on arrival. These jobs aren't glamorous. No filters, no ring lights, no hashtag Monday motivation.
Yeah, true.
Just back pain, busted knuckles, and overtime. These guys build your roads, keep your lights on at 3 a.m., and patch up water mains while you dream about becoming a millionaire influencer.
Yeah, it's true.
And guess what? Nobody thanks them. But without them, everything stops.
Yeah.
So what happens when the men disappear? Day 1 to 3, flights grounded, subways frozen, buses dead, garbage piles up.
Yeah.
Surprise, rats love euphemism too. The president vanished, along with every male vice president, speaker, and senator. By law, the next eligible official steps in, and it's Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. Suddenly, she's the acting president, thrust onto a platform without a stage, because authority isn't power without people to carry it out.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Twitter
Yeah, and it's crazy because you're starting to see this kind of happen a little bit. Like when you look at all of the trades are starting to get older. Like I think the average age of a farmer now is like 57 years old, and that's a very important job. But because less young men are having families, less young men are seeing like a necessity to go out into the world and be ultra productive, because young men don't really need that much to survive. Family is a young man's investment into society. It makes him willing to go to work, and it makes him willing to go to war to protect society, because he has something to lose and something to protect in society. But with fewer young men having families, you're just seeing young men just choose to not work as hard. Like I've seen statistics now that say more than 10% of young men between the age of 18 and 25 are just choosing to not work. And that's going to make society suffer in the future, because as these trade jobs and these infrastructure jobs get older on average, there's going to be fewer younger, experienced men to come in and take those positions. And so the secret deal in the social contract between young men and society has always been, if you work hard and if you're willing to die to protect society, we'll provide you an environment that's safe, that you could potentially own land in, and you could potentially have a family in. With both of those two things not happening as much for young men, they're seeing less reason to go out and work hard, and especially be willing to die in war. I personally believe that the future can only ever be family, but for some reason for the past 20 years, they've been telling young men that the future is female, and young men are just kind of sitting back going, okay, yeah, we'll find out.
Lights up with hashtags.
We'll
hashtag
see.
He Strike. Hashtag Temporary Kings. Everyone jokes about how women got this. Sure. Don't believe the waste warning? In 1968, New York's sanitation workers went on strike. By day 3, 30,000 tons of trash buried the sidewalks.
30,000 tons of trash in 3 days. That's crazy. And the problem isn't even just the trash. The problem is there's no way the trucks can drive. You can't get around on bike because there's so much trash in the streets. Disease is going to rise. There's going to be rats everywhere, possums, raccoons attacking people. Like, people have no clue how important just trash maintenance in and of itself is for society.
One city, 3 days, a mountain of rot.
Crazy.
Now picture that everywhere. Day 4 to 7. Then reality swings a hammer. Gas stations bone dry. Grocery shelves empty.
Yeah.
Hospitals ration oxygen. No supply trucks coming. 911 rings and rings. Nobody left to answer. Meanwhile, the new president is live streaming hope speeches under flickering lights.
That's
because
all you got.
no power crews.
Yep.
TikTok meltdown. Instagram meltdown. Your phone, a brick with anxiety. Here's a reality check.
You might as well just have a big old stapler at this point. It's just a paperweight. It's a $1,100 paperweight. And when he says the stores would be empty, if there's no law enforcement from day 1, I don't even think it'd take to day 4 for the stores to be empty. I think it'd be empty in the first 3 days for sure.
Back in 2022, Canada lost just 10% of its truck drivers because of a vaccine mandate. Within days, grocery shelves in Alberta were bare.
Damn.
The premier called it a crisis. Now picture all the drivers gone. Not 10%.
Yeah.
100%.
Damn.
And it's only day 4. By day 10, it's pitch black. Literally and mentally. Rolling blackouts. Sewage bubbling in the streets. Faucets coughing sludge.
Disease is rampant with sewage in the streets for sure.
Your fridge, dead. Your phone, dead. Hope, deader. And if you think this is doomer fiction, think again. In 2021, Texas froze
I remember
for just
this.
4 days.
Yeah. I remember
200
this.
plus people.
That was crazy. I had a couple friends in Texas, and like I had to check in on them like every other day, because one of them, they lost complete power, I think, in their whole apartment complex for like, I think it was like a week or something like that. It was that bad. But I mean, they eventually got it back on. But yeah, I mean, like the pipes, some of the pipes on some of the floors were busted and everything else. It was bad.
Died from hypothermia, carbon monoxide poisoning, house fires, and burst pipes flooding entire neighborhoods. One winter storm, one grid failure, $18 billion in damage. Now imagine the power never comes back on, because the men who fix
$18
it
billion in
aren't there.
damage?
Yeah.
The same people who mocked the patriarchy are now bartering stale granola for clean water.
Yeah, well, they can get the Bears to do it. And this isn't even really like an attack on women, right?
I hate
I'm really
that.
just mostly pointing out the fact
He
that,
said you can get the
like, in
Bears
the
to do it. It's
media, there's
crazy.
this common misconception and there's this push to demonize men and call men monsters, whether that be social media, Like in all the music and all the movies, almost every female artist is just a man hater at this point. I don't even know if you can have a career as a female musician without just blatantly disrespecting men repeatedly. That's kind of what all the female music has become. But also in like traditional media, all of these mediums where they talk about men, especially speaking to women about men, is to demonize men and say that like men are out to harm women. And it just goes to show like all of these things that men do behind the scenes that for mostly the benefit of women and children to keep society running. It just goes to show that that's just not the truth. I think that less than 1% of men are actually violent criminals. And even when you do deal with that small percentage of men, you have other men that come deal with that small percentage of men. It really just goes to show that men aren't actually monsters. And if men were as bad as the media made us out to be, I don't think that it would be as peaceful in the world as it already is. Because trust me, things could get way worse. And this is just like if all of the men left, but really all you need is like 20%. Like if 20% of men tomorrow decided they just don't want to go do their jobs anymore, the world would stop. The world would just halt.
Day 20. Society's mask rips off. Looting at brunch time. Cops outnumbered. Some officers just don't come back. Fires rage in abandoned stores and apartment blocks.
Nothing to stop them. And this is why, like, when I used to have these debates with these, like, raging feminists, but I used to have debates with raging feminists, and, like, it was always the idea of protection coming involved, and, like, that conversation would start, and then they go, well, who are you protecting us from? Basically, like, insinuating that men start the wars and men fight and die in the wars also. Number one, that's a misconception. When taking all of the female leaders throughout all of history, they found that the female leaders were 13% more likely to start wars. So even female leadership, they start wars. But either way, the point that I was making is no, men don't only protect women from other violent.
Because I don't know if y'all have ever worked in an office full of like women, but women are catty and women will disrespect each other and pretend to be their friends and then disrespect them behind their back. And then when one person finds out, it's bad. It gets all bad. It's all bad.
Men, that's also one thing that men protect women from, but men also protect women from the harshness of reality and nature. Like if there's a natural disaster and people are flooded, it's men that you see on rescue boats risking all of these things with the power lines in the mix of water, risking death to go save people and bring people supplies. Traditionally speaking, like almost like 90% of those people are oftentimes men. So no, men don't only protect from other bad men. Men also protect from the harshness of nature and reality too. I think there's like a huge psyop right now to prop up women and to downplay the necessity of men to act like men are just a want and not a need in society. And I think that happens because society has really not much to offer men at this moment. And when you make someone feel like they're not needed, they're less likely to demand things. When you know that you're needed in society, like men are, you start to have demands. And they don't want you to have demands as men. Like, I honestly think the world should be very happy that men ask for so little in terms of compensation for the things that they do to keep society running.
No firefighters to knock them down. Chemical spills, gas leaks, explosions. No hazmat crews left to contain it. Small neighborhoods barricade streets, arming themselves with bats and kitchen knives. Remember Hurricane Katrina?
Listen, some of these girls they be having them straps too. It's very few, but they be knowing how to use them.
Looters stripped stores bare while rescue teams risked their lives in waist-deep water.
It's crazy.
That chaos cost over $125 billion in damages and took years to rebuild.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about that because it probably won't be rebuilt. Probably won't.
And that was just one city, one storm for a few days. Now picture that same raw desperation, but spread across an entire country with no rescue teams coming this time. The same people who said men are replaceable now whisper, where did all the good men go? Day 30, no power, no trucks, no water, no law. The rich run to bunkers, hoping diesel and canned beans outlast desperation. The rest huddle around candles in moldy apartments, whispering prayers for daylight. Cities become tombs. Disease creeps through flooded basements and rat-infested streets. Bodies go unburied, just like during the 1918 Spanish flu, when so many died so fast that coffins ran out and mass graves were dug in city parks. In that pandemic alone, over 50 million people died worldwide, partly because infrastructure buckled under so many sick and dead. Now imagine a modern world. Phones dead, no heat, no clean water, no strong backs left to bury the fallen.
And these were people that could live off the land and had better skills geared towards being more self-sustaining. Now, with how dependent everybody is on technology, if you cut the lights off, bro, it would be chaos damn near immediately. You cut the lights off for 36 hours and people would be dead. People would be dying. Like, I could guarantee you that right now. All of that morality
I don't know about
and stuff
dying,
is cool, but there needs to be a level of stability and safety for all of that to
will
happen.
be
If
trying to
there
hurt
is
each
no
other.
stability and safety and protection
For sure.
from the harshness of reality and outside forces, all of that morality, that stuff starts to go out the window real quick for a lot of people.
Civilization didn't pause. It collapsed.
And people
in the
take it for
deafening
granted.
silence, one truth survives. Comfort was built on discipline. Discipline was built on sacrifice.
Yeah.
And sacrifice was built by the same men you forgot to thank. See, masculine labor built the modern world.
Yeah.
Masculine energy keeps it breathing. In 2018, when California's deadliest wildfires erupted,
I remember that.
over 8,500 fires scorched nearly 2 million acres, destroyed 24.
And even when that happened, bro, we need the trees, but you know,
1,000 structures and
Crazy.
killed more than 100 people, all while thousands of male firefighters, utility linemen, and helicopter crews fought day and night to stop them. No viral trends, just grit and elbow grease. If men stop working, the fantasy of independence shatters overnight because hashtags don't unclog sewers, tweets don't fly helicopters into wildfires,
Facts.
and corporate suits don't run power lines through a blizzard at 2 a.m. Men do, the kind who show up, shut up,
Crazy.
and carry it all while you scroll in comfort. What do they get for this? Mockery, blame, told they're toxic. Yet, they still show up. Why? Because purpose beats applause. Duty beats dopamine. But never forget, if they vanished for just a month, this empire of convenience crumbles fast, while many sat safe, scrolling past the wreckage, never realizing who kept the lights on. In 2020, male truckers didn't get to stay home. They drove through the pandemic with exposure risk, delivering food, medicine, and gear, while many sat safe.
Yeah, that time was easy to be resentful if you was a hard-working person. Like, I was working for USPS, and of course, even during that time, I was an essential worker. I still had to get everybody mail to their house every single day. And while I was sitting there doing that, there were people that were sitting at home making more money than me because...
Bro, I mean, the place that I work for, I was a quote-unquote essential worker. And like he said, there was people that was making more money than him. There's people making way more money than me. And honestly, like, I know of an individual who had 2 jobs because they could work from home. So he could do the jobs from basically both the jobs from one place, making a ton of money. But
they were getting paid to not go to work. We were getting called essential workers, and we didn't get no extra pay for being an essential worker. And there was people that was sitting at home getting paid more than I was getting paid to sit at home and not work. I just thought that was insane.
FreightWaves reported on drivers facing infection risk at every truck stop with no work-from-home option. Transport Topics called them frontline heroes, honoring the daily sacrifice that kept shelves stocked and hospitals supplied.
Yeah.
So here's the moral of this not-so-fairy tale. Respect the foundation, or watch the house collapse on top of you. Men, stand tall, not bitter, not boastful, just aware. Because you're not just workers, you're civilization's insurance policy. Don't let anyone forget it. We meant it,
W Video from Manosphere Highlights Daily. Like, he always just does such a good job. But I think it really comes down to the fact that for the most part, men will always choose freedom over responsibility unless we have people that we love that we need to be responsible for. And with
all right, y'all. Y'all know what I usually do. The link for the original video for the Poor Man's Podcast will be in the link in the description below. Love each and every last one of y'all, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Tell me, do you believe anything that this video said to be true? Let me know down in the comments down below. Also, hit me with a hype up, man. Helps me out tremendously. And yeah, like I've said before, we're on the road to 1,000 subs, man. Let's do this. Love each and every last one of y'all. I'm out. Peace. To the next transmission.